Well, if you've been wondering where I am, this little chatty video is going to answer that question. I'm Brenda Earl Stokes, the owner and creator of Piano and Voice with Brenda. And while I'm usually here on the internet, on YouTube, doing tutorials and teaching you songs and musicianship and singing and blah, 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 this is kind of my first ever sort of chatty video. And so if this is something that you like, definitely stick around. So you may be noticing something is a little different if you've seen all of my videos. And yes, Oscar Peterson is still here, but you may notice that the room that I'm in is different than it usually is. And you know why? I moved. What? Yes, after almost 24 years living in New York City, my family at the beginning of August this year, we moved. And, that's part of what I want to talk to you about. I'm also going to tell you a little bit about kind of what's coming up for me professionally, and also what you can expect from the channel. So let's dive right in. First thing is, of course, we have moved. In January of this year, we started thinking, what else is kind of available as a family? I'm married and I have a young teen son. And, living in Manhattan, we were living on 3rd Avenue, right in the middle of like Manhattan. It was great for so many different reasons, but it was starting to become very stressful for us. It was just a lot of noise. We lived on the 2nd floor. So that studio you saw me in for like all these hundreds of videos, it was getting louder and louder and louder. There were some changes in the city and the traffic was getting to be really unbearable. It was very noisy. My husband had an extremely physically demanding and stressful job. And our son, although he was doing extremely well in school, the situation in the city school-wise is very, very stressful. They had a lot of homework, getting ready for high school applications, even for public school. It was becoming more and more stressful. And while I was still doing loads of gigs and things like that, it was a lot of stuff that I didn't really need to be in the city doing anymore. And so I kind of pitched this idea to my husband back in January, and I said, well, what if we move back to my hometown? And so I grew up in Canada, in southwestern Ontario, in a small city. And we started saying, well, what if we did that? Because again, the bulk of my business is online. In addition to, the YouTube stuff that I do, the bulk of my business is teaching online voice and piano lessons. And I have students all over the world, and like 70%, 80% of my student is already online. And then the other part of my career is the versatile musician, which is my online musicianship. And I have, over 100 members worldwide. And it was sort of the same thing. I can kind of do this from anywhere. So we started thinking, well, what if we did move to Canada? What if we did move back to my hometown? And then through magic after magic after magic, we happened to find a house we did a virtual tour of. We made an offer, and Bob's your uncle. The rest is history. So here we are. So this summer has been a little crazy. That's where I've been. If you've been wondering like, wow, I haven't seen any videos from Brenda for a while. I actually made a bunch of videos and was all ready to release them. But just with everything going on, it got to be really, really crazy. So you are going to be the first one to see my new studio, which is great. The piano is, let's see if you can see it. The piano is over there. And this is the same piano I had in the city. You can see those are my soundproofing baffles, but this room sounds great enough that I actually may not need them, which is really, really great. And then the file cabinet full of music, the closet full of music. And, of course, Oscar Peterson will always be over my shoulder like the guardian angel he is. So behind you here, I have a really beautiful window that looks out into my backyard. So it's not the dog poop on 3rd Avenue, but it's a very, very nice. There's trees. It's really very, very lovely. I'm very happy to have this situation. So here we are, ta-da, in the new studio. So that's big and wonderful, exciting news. In a few weeks, our son will start school, and my husband is having a lot of fun kind of getting the house ready for our needs. And so, the bedrooms are upstairs, and then this is kind of a partial basement. I'm above ground, but it's on the main floor. So it's really fabulous. And I'm very excited that the bulk of my in-person students have stayed online. So it's fabulous. All is well. So that's the big news, the huge news. And just going forward, I wanted to kind of give you a sense of, kind of what else is coming up, what else is happening. As I said, I'm still very much teaching online. I have this really great setup. So the same setup that I use for, for teaching, crooked. The same setup I use for teaching my YouTube videos, that's all on here too. So, all my setup and everything is much the same. And it's a lot of fun to be teaching voice lessons, piano lessons. Some people I see weekly, sometimes I see people every other week. And then some people drop in occasionally for a vocal touch-up or for me to answer some questions on some piano stuff. So if that's something that you want to know more about, you can shoot me an email here at, or actually you can go onto the website and learn more about it. So I'll put that information here. Going forward with the Versatile Musician, we've had an incredible summer. Even in the middle of all the moving, I've still been doing all of my teaching, in addition to all of the incredible material that's already up there, which, I'll be scrolling through some of it here so you can see it. Excuse me. We have tons of courses up there and lots of things that, you just sort of show up and you sign up and you do the stuff, and there's tons of stuff there. But we also do monthly Zoom calls. And so the monthly Zoom call is kind of, I poll everybody in the membership and say, what's everybody thinking about? What questions do people have? I do that quarterly to kind of see where people are at. And this year, people seem like they were really curious about songwriters. And so starting in June, we've been doing the Songwriter Series. So who did we do in June? In June, we did a deep dive on the music of the Beatles. And so I sort of talked through, their influences, things to know about their music, just kind of a deep, informative sort of thought in a very general way about the music of the Beatles. And then I taught 3 song requests, full arrangements of it, which was a lot of fun. In July, we got to cover my 2 favorite singer-pianists of all time, Billy Joel, Elton John. So for the Billy Joel one, we talked a lot about, his sort of background in music, things to think about how he thinks about music, about how he composes, influences, and then, a lot of recommendations on where to go in the membership to get information to sort of improve skills to play it. And then I taught 2 of his biggest hits, Moving Out and My Life. Did I do another one? Yeah, and New York State of Mind. We did 3. So that's all up on the site. And then we did a deep dive on Elton John. And we did Elton John, what I call the wiggly fingers, when he's always playing all those rolled chords in many of his ballads. So that was the kind of stuff that we were doing. And so I have a method to teach this. I'm just like, when he's always doing like that kind of stuff, it's a little bit funny. Like when he's doing that stuff, like, what is that? So I broke that all down, and then I taught Tiny Dancer and Your Song, which both use the same accompaniment technique. So that was very cool. So I'm not sure when this video is airing, but on August 13th, which is tomorrow from when I'm filming this, we're going to be doing a deep dive on Carole King. And then for our workshop in September, we're going to be doing the music of Neil Diamond. So this has been a very, very cool series of workshops. People's feedback has been amazing. If you can't attend live, then people are able, I always record everything and put it up on the site. And we now have a songwriter module in there. So you can go and do deep dives. We have Bruce Springsteen as well as some of the other artists I mentioned. So that's been really fantastic. And if you want to join to get part of the action, then you just go to theversatilemusician.com. I'll leave in the link in the bio, and you just definitely want to use the coupon code GETSTARTED30 to get $30 off your first month. So that's that. Now let's talk about the channel, like what's going on here at YouTube. I have a queue of some of the coolest stuff that I think I've ever done on the site, and I've done some very cool stuff for you guys. So we're going to go back into the Friday posting schedule, Friday at noon Eastern time. And that's every week. There is going to be a video coming out with some really fantastic song tutorials. And the song tutorials aren't just, hey, here, learn this song. I'm always giving insights into chordal things, harmonic things. I'm showing you how to really break everything down. So it's more of, it's like you'll learn the song, but you're also going to learn a lot of other stuff along the way. just as a sneak peek, here's what's coming up. I have The Wait by the band. Have You Ever Seen the Rain by CCR? I have a 10-minute boogie woogie piano workshop that is super cool. Give Me Some Lovin', which is a great song. Hotel California, which is crazy. Speaking of Carole King, Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow? I have Eternal Flame by the Bangles. Waiting in Vain, which is every person's favorite reggae song. Wonderwall by Oasis, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff that's coming up over the next couple of months. So this is what is going on. If you haven't hit subscribe before, make sure you hit subscribe. If you want to kind of have a direct route to the things that are going on, you can sign up at my, you can sign up for a free printable chords cheat sheet, and then that'll put you on the mailing list. So that's pianoandvoicewithbrenda.com/chords. So that, my friends, is what I wanted to tell you over here. If you like these little chatty updates, leave me a comment below. I always love these from my favorite creators because it's fun to kind of get in their world a little bit. So let me know what you think about that. And if you're keen on, trying a lesson, or if you want to join the membership or any of that, you have any questions, let me know. It's so great to be back. I'm sorry I was away. I missed you all so very much. And as you know, I love making these videos. So I will be seeing you again this Friday for a new tutorial, and leave me some love below. It'd be great to know where you're calling in from, where you're watching, all that good stuff. So anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.